Hi guys, welcome back to KBC's Larder. Today we're going to be talking about raw versus cooked food. One of the things we've been talking about over the last few weeks with the various things that we want to stock up on is whether it's processed, whether it's whole, and what the quality's like. Now, when we start to heat something, we start to change its natural state. And I guess you could call it you could akin it to being a kind of a process where we're breaking down the food. Some foods need to be cooked and it's easily digestible, and obviously it's better, so it can taste better that way. But more often than not, when we look at the amount of cooked foods or foods that have been heated, most people's diets tend to be more cooked than raw. The other thing that can happen when we start to cook food is that we can take away, whether we're breaking down the structure of the food, we can start to affect or damage the enzymes that naturally occur in the vegetables. And enzymes are really important to be able to digest and break it down. And I think I mentioned a few times, when we can't digest a food or absorb it, then what's the point? We're kind of wasting our money. And actually food then starts to drain us a little bit and drain our vitality. So we can be eating the best quality food in the world, but if we can't actually digest it, then what's the point? So one of the first things we can do is make sure that we get good quality in the first place. I invest in a company called Riverford. They come from Devon, which I guess I could say the carbon footprint is quite a lot, but they argue that their carbon footprint is quite small because they come up in freight, and it's quite efficient. As well as it being organic, it's grown ethically. We know it's nutritious. I've actually been to the farm because I grew up down that way, and you know that it's from a good source and they farm with good methods. First thing you need to do is to invest. It doesn't have to be Riverford or a good veg scheme. It can be local or just to a local greengrocers, although they're not that kind of common these days. So you know you're getting good quality. So if you start with good quality, you know you've got high nutrition, the soil's in a good state, you know you're going to extract the best. Probably the best thing you can do, and especially if you're over the ages of sort of 35, 40, we start to lose our ability to break foods down, especially when we get to sort of 50 and 60. And that's why a lot of people tend to shy away from heavy proteins, and they feel great when they go to a vegetarian diet. And normally that can be down to just the body changing, always eaten processed food and cooked food, and that depletes our digestion over time. So when we do start to eat a kind of more, or take proteins out of diet, people feel better. So what we can do is start to introduce more raw foods into your diet. So instead of cooking the hell out of foods or boiling foods, like my nan used to boil the hell out of sprouts and use sprout water with everything, you lose the nutrition. Eat raw foods, so raw carrots, salads, good quality vegetables from their raw state. Juicing is a great way to get a lot of enzymes and not taxing the digestive system, and you can do that in the morning. I would tend to juice more green vegetables, stuff like kale, as pak choy, carrots, apple, spinach, that type of thing, avocados. If you're going to cook foods, one of the things I would say is, again, don't cook the hell out of it. Cook it gently. Probably one of the best things you can buy if you're going to cook is a steamer. These are pretty cheap. You just stick it on top of your saucepan, and you put the lid on, and that steams it gently. And you always kind of don't, unless you like it really soft, I always cook it with a little bit of crunch so you're not killing the food. So if you're showing signs that you're not digesting foods, you're having a problem being regular, your energy's low, you struggle breaking down proteins, meats, fish, then try and introduce some more raw food with your diet. Vegetables, marginal on the fruit because it's a bit sugary, and then maybe taper off the heavy proteins initially, and then bring them back in when your digestion improves or when your energy improves. One of the ways you can find if you're enzyme deficient is to try a tablespoon of lemon juice before a meal, and then if you find that if you digest that food it's an improved digestion, or you feel better after that, it's probably a sign that you need to be eating more raw foods, or that you need to be supplementing enzymes. You can get pancreatic enzymes, systemic enzymes from a good health food store, and that can help before you eat, to break down the foods and making sure you're getting absorbing all the nutrients that we can. So the message today is go out and try and eat maybe more raw foods. If you're going to cook it gently, and make sure you don't ruin it by overcooking it. So hope that helps. I'll see you at boot camp soon. Take care now. Bye.